our right hands. Okay. In your most passionate Emersonian voice, your deepest Whitman-esque yelp, repeat after me. Follow Taylor Rogers' lead if you want an indication of how to do this theatrically. Ready? I will trust myself. Good. I will be myself. My best self. I will not cower in conformity. I will not basely imitate others. I will not mindlessly parrot back the words of my commencement speaker, because that is exactly what Emerson was trying to tell me not to do. Please have a seat. Okay, I fooled you. The lesson I wanted to leave you with was not about transcendentalism or individuality, although I suppose you have something to ponder now, don't you? No, the lesson was about situational irony. That was situational irony. All of you dressed in those ridiculous identical outfits, chanting in unison about being yourself. Situational irony, children. It's such a hard concept to get, it really is, but I feel better knowing you'll be going off to college with a valuable example of it in your pocket. You're welcome. Don't spend it all in one place. All right. Now is about the time I am obliged to offer you some sage advice that will change the way you look at the world and influence the decisions you will make from this day forward. My problem is, I've got nothing for you. No kidding. Squat. Zip. I mean, I can offer you some trivial advice. I could do that. Advice that may help those of you who are heading off to college next year. For the college-bound majority, however, I suppose I have a few nuggets of minor wisdom gleaned from my own personal experience to offer. I can tell you to do whatever you can, short of murder, to get yourself into a single dorm room next year. The idea that some random person in university housing is going to pair you up with your soulmate is patently absurd. It's not going to happen, people. If you are not lucky enough to get your own room, and on the first day your roommate comes in and introduces himself to you as the monkey wrench, transfer to another school. If you are savvy enough about registering for classes, you will not need to rise before noon for the next 4 years. If your major requires you to take a pre-noon class, change your major. So that's why I majored in English, people. Every class, every post-noon class you take will undoubtedly have an annoying know-it-all who endlessly monopolizes conversation with the professor. If you cannot identify this irritating student, it means you are this irritating student. What you should do then is stop being so irritating. I have more of these practical gems if you are interested, I really do. But as for advice about how to best live your life, you'll have to figure it out by yourself. I have an applicable simile for you. The novelist Samuel Butler put it this way: life is like playing a violin in public. and learning the instrument as one goes on. I've always thought this is a wonderful summation of the predicament we find ourselves in together. Figuring out how to make our own music on that violin is the sole reason we are here, and we have no choice but to figure it out on our own in a painfully and exhilaratingly public way. We stand in the middle of the public square and we saw away at the thing day after day, sometimes hitting on a run of notes that sounds just right, sometimes being cheered, sometimes being heckled by the crowd, sometimes becoming painfully aware that what we are playing doesn't really come from our hearts, sometimes feeling the joy welling up inside of us because our music has become inexplicably beautiful, even to ourselves, and sometimes wishing we could just put the violin down for a while because we are so weary of trying to learn. But of course, this is not an option. Your only imperative is to play, to break strings, to fumble the notes, to find your own style, to say yes to the whole messy and joyful experience. There's this great book, Ulysses, by James Joyce. Some of you may remember him. Although it is set entirely in Dublin and takes place over the course of only one day in the lives of 3 central characters, the book is a sprawling, massive achievement that deals in stunning fashion with all the blessings and curses of being human, being that violinist in the public square. And after nearly 2 decades of working and playing on the planet, you are probably familiar, I know you are familiar with many of them. The loneliness that isolates us, the love that binds us together, the fear that keeps us from being our best selves, the ambitions that drive us on, the longing we experience for what is just out of reach, the dissatisfaction we feel at times with ourselves and with others, the forgiveness, especially that, the forgiveness we need to extend to others and need extended to us. After all of this, after 800 pages of beauty and ugliness, Joyce chooses to end his book with one simple word. That word is yes. And that is the word I would like to leave you with today. It is a word that asks you to embrace all of your life. Every struggle you have had and will ever have, every triumph, every fear, every happiness. None of it is without purpose or value. Embrace it and live it. Embrace the memories, good and bad, of the people and places you are leaving behind today. They have shaped your music. And walk with an open heart into the wonderfully complicated, gloriously messy, and beautifully human futures that await you. Say yes to it all. Tuck that violin under your chin and play your song. Thank you so much for everything you have given me, class of 2009. Congratulations. You did it. Yes.